Alright, so we missed all of that last time. There's one more thing we missed before we go into that one room. Back down here, back in that room. Remember that green plate that was there and I want to click on it? Well, we can if you click here. Okay. Can I click on that? No. Of course not. See, that was fucking weird. Still can't click on this shit. Oh well. No, I want to go up over here. Oh. I never actually clicked on this before. That's new. Yeah, now we can actually go ahead and check out this one room we never went into. The locked room. We are now in. Well, welcome to the baby room. Welcome to the messed up baby room. Here's a hammer. Here's a hammer. It shows all the movies, well, a few of the movies that Christopher Lee has appeared in. And you can legit scroll through this, and it will show you quite a few films he's been in, including Police Academy 7. Yes. And Gremlins 2. And Howling 2. And The Man with the Golden Gun. And Blood of Fu Manchu. You know, all the good movies. Then you got this thing here. There's only one code we can click on. And inside is this thing. What even is this? I don't even know. There's a picture of a man here. Let's click on him.
I was cleaning the windows in the door, and in the reflection of the mirror, I saw somebody standing behind me, wearing a white smock or a coat like it's something similar to a Gannymack. And I turned round, said hello, and I was talking to nobody. There was nobody there, literally. So I turned back, and the figure was still in the mirror.
Alright. So, before I click on that thing there are some more things to look at. For instance, this thing. That's a weird thing, huh? What if I walk over here and then look at it? It's the same angle. It's weird though. Here is a bed with sheets. Here's a cupboard. There's nothing inside of it. Oh well. If we go over here, we can find a... You see, that's new. I never saw that in the walkthrough, so you know, I found something new. I can be proud of that. I can be a bit proud of that. By the way, here's a horse. This is a horse. Yay. So let's go over here. Look over here. Look back. There's a few things here. Now there's that thing. And then there's this thing. Let's deal with this thing. What even is this thing? What? You turn it on and he magics. You can't click on the magic. I don't know what the magic does. But there's a floorboard that is pretty much taken out. And here are some drawings in a ribbon. What's this about?
Dame Elizabeth Hoby wished only the very best for her three sons. As a member of the court of Queen Elizabeth I and a scholar of outstanding merit herself, she was determined that her offspring would not embarrass the family name. and thus they received the finest tutelage money and influence could buy. Under Elizabeth's strict governance, the minds of her two eldest boys, James and John, grew bright and agile, taking to tests and puzzles with an aptitude that delighted her. They were only too painfully aware of the consequences if they did not perform well. They had only to listen at the door of their mother's study when she was disciplining her youngest son, William, who sadly did not share his brother's intellectual gifts. The sound of the cane striking William's limbs and that of their mother's pitiless taunts was chilling, and they learnt to avoid her wrath. William was not so lucky. It often seemed to William that he had been born into the wrong family. A thin, pallid child, he envied his brother's talents and handsome features, neither of which had been passed on to him. Of his father he remembered little, only that he often bore the brunt of his wife's scolding, as cruel as any caning William had ever received, with an unnatural calm that drove his mother into even greater fits of invective. When he died, the house took on an altogether more foreboding air. Once his mother must have felt as the father did, as she had arranged for all manner of physicians to examine the boy, presumably to determine his lineage or his sanity. And then there were the foreign clerics, no doubt commissioned to drive out any mischievous demons which may have taken up residence in the lad, but to no avail. Whilst the more generous claimed that there was something not right in the boy's head, none could deter Elizabeth from her unshakable conviction that William was simply lazy and maliciously stubborn. As for William himself, he always knew there was something wrong inside, but no one asked him. He would spend hours staring at a page in a book, concentrating with all the mental vigor he could summon, and yet the words would make no sense. The tutors would persevere for a time, and even his brothers, in a charitable moment, might offer assistance, but still the words would make no sense. Before his eyes the letters swam, shuffled, and pranced about, doing anything but sitting still on the page long enough for him to decipher them. As for the sums, well, that was like reading, only worse. 2 plus 2 seldom equaled 4, except when it was counted out whilst the cane was being brought down on his white knuckles. But the very worst was writing. Squeezing hard on the quill his mother had specially purchased for all her sons, William carefully dipped it in the inkpot and brought the nib to the blank page, cupping the falling ink into his other hand. Yet when it met the paper, he could only manage a few tense scrawls before the nib invariably got caught in the thick fibres, and he tore the first sheet, blotting the rest of his exercise book in the process. He sobbed convulsively over his shame that it only brought unwelcome attention to his handiwork. Sometimes he fought back the tears and managed to secrete the stained, sodden books through a gap in the floorboards beneath his desk, but more often than not he was caught defacing the page, the punishment for which was severe. The cane sang briefly before it bit into his flesh, and then a throbbing numbness passed over him. Afterwards, his mother sent him to consider his crimes in the cool, dark room at the top of the stairs. On the day of examination, when the boys were to be judged for their future placement in the halls of learning, William pleaded with his mother that he was unprepared for such a test, but she would have none of it, insisting the experience would focus the boy's mind and energies and put an end once and for all to his willful laziness. James and John acquitted themselves with distinction, as expected, while young William struggled mightily with his tasks, but succeeded only in covering his books with illegible scribbles and oceans of ink. Racked with anxiety, the boy waited for his mother to bid the inspectors goodbye and apologize for her youngest, who was a constant disappointment to her. And then the storm broke. Dame Elizabeth sent James and John out of the room, while she fetched the birch cane resting idly in the corner of the study and approached William. The boy flinched at the first cut, which ripped viciously across his forearms, and the next which tore across the back of his legs. The cane became a blur of pain, and he lost count of the strokes, but he would not cry out. Elizabeth was overcome with a rage that terrified her, and still she beat him. The stick crashed down on the cowering boy's head and back, and still she beat him. It was as if someone else held the cane, and she became a helpless onlooker. The boy crumpled to the ground, and still she beat him. Elizabeth only stopped when her other sons burst into the room and restrained her hand. Horrified at what their mother had done, James and John removed William from her presence and carried his unconscious form to the place at the top of the stairs, where they locked him in. Elizabeth was summoned to court the next day and sent her eldest sons to their aunt some miles away, leaving William to fend for himself. She had no reason to believe that she would be kept away for 3 days, but on her return, accompanied by James and John, she hurried up the stairs to where William would be waiting, and found the lifeless body of her youngest boy curled up on the cold floor. At least there would be no further lessons. Dame Elizabeth, however, was stricken with guilt and remorse for over 40 years until her death, but there was to be no absolution. Her troubled spirit can still be seen wandering the east wing of Bisham Abbey, her skin the colour of ink, and her dress cream like parchment. Her hands are endlessly wet with blood and soap as she tries to wash away her sins in a ghostly basin that floats before her. For even her ghost can never escape the memory of her deeds, which still exist in the form of leather-bound exercise books, forever stained with the ink blots and tears of her son.
Now that was something. And that is sadly the end of this game. There's nothing else to really talk about or show. That is legit it. That is all the game. I wish there was more I could show, but it's really nothing. Unless I can find the thing where the ghost activates here, just click on something and the ghost just goes, ooh, some shit like that, and just tries to make you shit yourself. Which I can't find, by the way. But if I could, I would show you. And I never actually saw the top of the window before. If I could, I would definitely show you the ghost. But as it stands, I can't. So, yeah, it sucks. But it's the best I could do. There's nothing else really show of this game. So, I think that's going to be it. I mean, I wish the stream was longer.
Are you sure you want to leave the house now?
But the whole point of the stream was to show off what I missed, so yes. I have to say, I have no idea why the fuck it was acting like we could not get those images because our space was too small. If you look at the space that my computer, this thing, currently has, we only used 3.33 gigabyte of space with this one. We didn't take much. So, why is Ghost acting like we took all the space and left nothing? I mean, let's have a look at this shit again. If you look at Ghost, look at the properties, there's not much on it. The position is useless now. And when it comes to anything like program files and such, there's nothing around that has any use for that. I had a look, and there's really nothing around that, would be the thing we saw. That is it. I mean, we even checked this shit, nothing here. So, what could I do? I even checked the fucking CD here, thinking, hey, it might be something here that, could help us figure out why the hell it's acting like this. Well, no. There was nothing. I mean, there's data, but not even data could help us. I mean, there's a lot of fin. There's a lot of fins. But none of these actually showed us a lot. Which sucks, because I really wanted to see more of this game. We can find sounds. We can have a look at the wind. We can have a look at the room. We can have a look at Snake. We can have a look at past door. We can have a look at cab open. I mean, there was some sounds there. There's also some movies, There's quite a number of movies here. All pretty neat. And there's experts, but we already saw that. There's Get Ahead. There's Ghosts.
Remember the words of the Spirit.
We already saw that. There's The Glass.
If you have ever broken a glass,
There's Hearth.
look closely at the cinders within the hearth.
I'm Lee Big.
Hello, I'm Christopher Lee.
There's the intro.
Welcome to Hobbs Manor.
There's Jimmy.
There are some for whom death holds no dominion.
And of course there's Leave B and Leave F.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
They were both the same. And there's Marwell and all that crap. And there's Misled.
We meet again,
And then Pill W. Which is that thing again. That's the bed sheets. That is not the bookshelf I saw before. That's the bed sheets. There's also Skull, which is under a bed. And there's Elbok, which we saw before was the book flying across the screen. Yeah, there are some things we missed. Background, got bottles. And then we got Polter. And a C notepad for fins. Also had religion, because of course. And resources. And spirits, like the caves.
Two pictures here.
And the legs.
This was taken by me.
We've already heard those. And there's also the text, which is sort of cards and such, and the VFWs, which I have no idea what the fuck. But yeah, there are some more things that I missed. So let's go back and check that out. And I can easily go through looking for these by looking at what these videos are. We can find their locations, and then we can end it for good. So let's see. First one I should deal with is Pill W, which is the bed sheets in that one room. So let's just skip through all these intros.
What?
Alright, we want to go over here. I had a feeling I missed something here. I thought that wasn't going to be the thing we saw before. So let's go over here and click this. Unbelievable. We have found the bed sheets. And there was a skull hidden somewhere. I don't know where. Let's have a look at the thing again. The skull video was simply called Skull, and it looks like that. And I think I have a good idea on where that is. Let's try this room real quick. There it is. Neat. What else was there that we missed? Doesn't seem to be anything. No, just doesn't seem to be anything else. I guess that's it. I guess that's it. Yes. Well, that's it for the game. Apparently, there's nothing else to really show. I mean, check out the portrait.
Should you see a portrait?
No, I'm not going to say the portrait. But yeah, that's it. There's actually nothing else. I mean, there's Butt Norm, which shows us Butt Dummy of Toby Nelson. Don't know why. And Butt Inf, which gives us a continue, and enough, a next, and a previous, and a... I don't know why these exist. This is weird. Why is there a bunch of shit here that has nothing to do with the game? I don't fucking know. But there's really nothing else to talk about. Really nothing else to show. So that's it for Ghosts. And that is it for this game. I am now going to eject it from my PC. Shit. Come on, indicate. There we go. And that is it. So, that is it for Ghosts.